Book trailer, The Master of the Place. Hello, dear colleagues. I greet you once again. Today, we're here for another meeting, and I am pleased to present to you the new books that have been published in our school. This series of books, like everything else in our school, has come about in quite a magical way. We once had a course that continues to this day, although it was particularly active and popular at one time. It was called Magic in Questions and Answers. It was structured in a fairly simple way. You sent me your questions or asked them during the session, and I answered them. Later, you would discuss these questions on our school's forum, the Magic United Forum. Your discussions, stories, and reflections were so interesting that I could not ignore them in my creative and teaching activities. Because experience is perhaps the most valuable thing we possess. Experience is the only precious thing we have, the only thing we can share with others or receive from someone else, provided it is given to us voluntarily. And so, based on your stories, your reflections, your doubts, and the descriptions of your achievements and mistakes, books in this series, the Magic in Questions and Answers series, have been and will be created. I have divided them into different themes, with each book dedicated to a specific theme. Your stories on these topics are incredibly fascinating. In fact, they form the very basis of each book. There are currently several books in the series, and new ones will continue to be written and published. As long as the forum exists, as long as you are there, and as long as you continue to share your stories and express your thoughts without hesitation, these books will continue to be written. The first book in this series is called The Master of the Place. I must say that this is probably the most popular theme in our school, because it is something deeply relevant to each of us. How to find our own place in the world, in territorial terms. Is this place animate or inanimate? Who should submit to whom? A person to a place, or a place to a person? Does a place have a spirit? Does a place have a master? By analysing our own experiences, as well as legends, myths, and even fairy tales, we have come to understand that every place has its own master. And this master has a temper, it has preferences, it favours some and dislikes others. Is it possible to systematise and calculate this? We pondered this question for a long time and finally came to the answer. Yes, it is possible to understand the master of the place, but only if the right contact is established. And the right contact will only be established when each of us who live in this world realizes that no one owes us anything. Every land has its master. If they accept you as a guest. At best, as a member of the family, but never as their master. And if a person understands this, they will find everything they could wish for in the place where they live. Health, success, prosperity, and well-being. They will be happy if they do not come into conflict with the true masters of nature. What are they, and who are they? Are they living or non-living, otherworldly or not? How do they communicate with people? How can a person establish contact with them? How can their messages be properly read and interpreted? This book explores these questions, and it is not based on imagination, intellect, or theoretical reasoning. Everything is described on the basis of the real-life experiences of those who have walked this path, who have set themselves this task, and who have succeeded or failed. Because descriptions of mistakes and wrong actions, colleagues, are just as valuable as descriptions of success. We are not afraid of any experience, and even if that experience is negative, we can analyze it and describe it without shame, without fear that someone will point a finger and say, "Look who's talking." Nothing of the sort, because if a mistake has been made, it means that there is now an understanding of what not to do, and that understanding only comes when you understand the nature of the spirit of the place. Why is it the way it is? Why does it demand certain things from people while remaining indifferent to others? What offerings should we bring to the spirits of the place, and should we bring any at all? Do all the spirits of the place require offerings, or do some prefer to interact with people based on different rules, different agreements? All of this is described in this small but incredibly enlightening book. This book has many authors. It includes all those who have written on the forum, all my students who have studied and continue to study this topic. Because it really is fascinating to explore this world from a perspective you may never have considered before. I wish you many insights as you read this book, but most of all, I wish that it will teach you to take the right actions and to understand the land you live on, to understand that it is alive, that it is inhabited by the living children of the earth, who are the true masters of this place, far more than we are, and who have greater rights, to be honest. And if they choose to share those rights with you, that is your good fortune. They do share, and they do so willingly, because, in one way or another, we all have to coexist here. And good relations between neighbors are always more valuable than any attempt to assert one's rights by force. By the way, in ancient times, long before the Christian era, these spirits of the place, these masters of the earth, were called the good neighbors. May they remain so for us. Good luck in discovering this new facet of the world.